So welcome back, everyone. I said welcome back. Oh my gosh, it's a happy Friday, and it's a holiday weekend, so look at me already. So, welcome to the show, everyone. I want to tell everybody that we're live on Facebook. My guest next to me has been on with me once before, and I'm so excited about bringing him on because we were just talking before he came on how a lot of people do not know of this service. We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to share the show later on. I got with me Greg Sarlo, and he's the owner of EverCare Placement. I want you to tell everybody first a little bit about you and what you do.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for having me again. My background, a little all over the place. I was born and raised here in Arizona, and then transferred out and lived elsewhere, but always divided my time between family. Arizona's always been home, but about 6 years ago, it's almost 7 years now, right before COVID, I moved out here to be closer to my grandparents. They were having some health challenges, and I always promised I was going to come back here full time, and one thing led to another, and I ended up taking a career job out here after being a full-time entrepreneur for many years, and saw just a huge need for advocacy in the industry for geriatric care and seniors, and having to advocate for my grandparents in the hospital kind of just triggered a whole domino effect for where I wanted to be. Professionally, right? What I wanted to be when I grew up.
Well, I think you saw a need for what people really need to understand. A lot of people, they wait till, they have to scramble because they wait till almost it's too late to find a placement for their seniors who need that.
Oh yeah, that's always a big topic of conversation, and it's advocacy too, right? So it's being prepared and having a plan and advocating, and my personal story with having to advocate for my grandfather, that really kind of instilled into me that it's very important for people to have advocates and have that advocacy behind you, because the hospital systems, discharge teams, clinicians, they're busy. They got a lot of stuff going on. They mean well, right? They're doing things for the right reasons, but there's a lot of pressure on that. If you don't have a plan, and you find yourself at 2 o'clock in the morning Googling things because mom or dad fell, your options are a little bit limited, right? We can handle crisis placement, but it's never really a choice at that point. So
also, when you Google something, it's just so much information, and here that's what you do. Many of the places that are out there. So I would like to ask you, and I know this is not exactly
Sure.
what we're doing here. I love doing that to people. But here's the thing I want to ask you, because a lot of people, they start to see their parent, struggling, right? And you come in and you're going to do an assessment, correct? Okay, tell me what that looks like and what happens from there.
Yeah, and I think we talked a little bit on this, right? So we're meeting with people, wherever they're at, whether that's at home, whether they're in the hospital, or sometimes even virtually, right? So we connect with people where they're at. Our assessments are not clinical assessments, right? So we're doing more of an evaluation, is the technical term.
Okay,
right? So
thank you.
We're doing an evaluation, and we're looking at a multitude of things, right? So it's not just a face sheet, as they would call it clinically. It's more than that. It's really obviously what challenges they're facing, where they've been over the last couple of weeks. We usually start with, tell us what the last couple of weeks have looked like, if there's some hospitalization, right? We want to know what challenges led them to where they're at, and we want to look at some medical history. We also want to look at, where were they when they were in their professional career? What hobbies did they have, right? What do they enjoy doing? Like, what are the things that they find value in? Because personality is just as important when you're looking at connecting people to a home or a care environment. They have to really, as much as they can possibly want to be there,
Yeah.
right? Because if they're not happy and they're depressed, now you're facing a whole other set of issues that we're trying to navigate away from. Isolation, depression, all of those things.
So what is the biggest mistake, obviously, that people make when these things start coming up?
Not really understanding what's behind the curtain, I think, and just assuming that anybody can do placement, quote unquote, or finding resources or care. Obviously, nobody's going to care for your loved one like you, right? but it's knowing when to put in a professional, right? To bring a professional team in. And a big mistake is people will assume that they can Google search online. They'll look at a pretty chandelier or a building, like I said last time, and they'll think, oh, okay, Google reviews, this should be a great community, right? Google reviews can be important, but Google reviews are a lot like the bathroom stall, right? Anybody can put anything on there, good or bad, right? And it could just be, there could be bad reviews on Google, but it could be a really good company behind the scenes, right? So there's a lot more that goes into that. So just assuming that a general search, looking online or driving by a community would be the best solution or fit. There's
And
many factors.
you go in there, you know the questions to ask, you know those places like the back of your hand, inside and out.
Yeah, and it's important. We have to be involved in that, right? We need to know the director of nursing team. We want to know the staff to resident ratios. What happens with their processes and protocols, right? What happens at 2:00 in the morning when somebody has a situation,
Right, you mentioned that,
right?
yeah.
When something happens, we want to know what that looks like. And we can teach people what to ask and how to navigate those questions, but there's other things like negotiations and pricing and contract review and all those things, right?
And most people, you say, wait too long.
Oh, I'd say about 80% of people wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what I also want people to know too is that this is this service that you have, it is free to the families,
Mhm.
right? So explain how that is, because a lot of people are gonna say, oh,
Too good to
that's
be
too
true.
good to be true, right?
Too good to be true. Well, we work with many companies, kind of like a Medicare broker, right? So somebody who represents many different plans. So we work with hundreds of communities and facilities throughout the valley. So we have got contracts and we work with them, right? So we advise and we navigate through that, obviously based off of care needs, personality, our evaluation, and then when we make an introduction to those communities outside of their marketing budget, they would give us maybe a finder's fee on that, right?
I can understand.
Mhm.
Now, we only got a couple of minutes, so many families promises like, I'll never put you in a home. How do they help families navigate that emotionally?
I think that's a really big one. If I'm being honest, it's probably one of the more challenging conversations that we navigate on a consistent basis. Usually families, made those kind of promises under different circumstances, right? They weren't imagining advanced dementia, wandering falls, or maybe aggression, right? 24-hour care needs, right? That situation changes, and then sometimes the most loving thing that you can really do is recognize the care has exceeded what somebody can safely manage at home. And we help navigate that.
I want you to write this number down, because this is the kind of thing where you never know when you're gonna need it, right?
Sure.
Especially as things start changing with your senior parents. So 480-809-9908. It's EverCare.com. It is a no-cost service to you. You work statewide, and I think the main thing is what people do is they wait till it's almost too late. Now you're scrambling, what do I do? You shouldn't do that. Call, have an evaluation done. You can also go onto their website and check them out. It is EverCare.com. Again, that phone number, write it down and put it in your phone. It's 480-809-9908. You never know when you're gonna need it. Okay, we're gonna keep on going in here, because right now the difference in the 30,
Okay.
we're still live on Facebook.
Great, okay.
Okay?
Just don't need this on.
Okay, then no, keep it on. If you don't
Okay.
want it, that's fine.
I was just hitting my glasses. there.
Okay, that's okay if you don't want it. Okay, so we're gonna talk about warning signs when we get back.
Sure.
I wanted you to get to some of your statistics, if you'd like to, real quickly now.
Yeah,
Mhm,
I think
go
those
ahead.
are important. You want me to do those now?
You want me to do them on air, or you want me to do them now? I can do them on air if you want.
I think on air would be really
Okay,
powerful.
okay,
Grab
you
some
got
value
it.
out of that.
So, okay. What happens, this is a good one, when families, what rights do the families have during hospital or rehab when they discharge them?
Right, I think we talked about this a little bit. So families usually get pressured to make quick decisions when they're in the hospital, right? A lot of these discharge teams, case managers, they're supporting dozens of crises, right? So they've got a triage list of people coming in and people that need to go out, so more people can come in. And really, when you're in that kind of a space, you're getting that pressure to make those quick decisions, and you're dealing with a lot of emotions, right? You've got a lot of things going on, and to make those kind of decisions, where's mom or dad, or where's our loved one going to be transitioned? They're going to need a higher level of care. You have the ability to slow things down. I tell people slow things down. Got to slow things down, and maybe it's asking the case manager, what's it look like if we wait 48 hours? We need some more time. Let them know there's not a safe place to discharge.
Mm-hmm.
They have to know that, right? And when you make things known, so to speak, you kind of put things on record. Now they have to operate a certain way, right? And if you're under Medicare, there's things that you can do through Medicare, and you can appeal, and filing an appeal for discharge and communicating directly with the doctor puts them in a place where they have to follow specific guidelines.
How many people know that they can even appeal that?
I would say not many people that
Exactly.
we talk to. Yeah.
But you as an advocate could help them navigate that, because they wouldn't even know where to go. Who do you talk to?
And we advocate for people all the time that we're not even placing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our organization really specializes in senior care, geriatric care, navigation, conflict resolution with family. I mean, we've got social worker on our team, we've got clinical staff, we've got a team of professionals that are very frequent with these conversations. So even if it's just questions, right, or even if it's just us coming in to advocate for you at the hospital, or be in a sounding board, or to verify information, right? So we're an objective resource for information.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. So welcome back, everyone. I am talking right now with Greg Sarlo, and he is the owner of EverCare Placement. And we're talking about, it's such an important conversation to have here, and thank you for what you do, because you help people and you advocate for them, and you help them when things can go wrong and what to do, but also to help them know to get that evaluation done early, get that stuff in place so that you don't have to be scrambling, because when you are, that's crazy. I've seen it happen firsthand.
And that's usually when maybe bad decisions can happen, right? Because you're trying to make the best decision, but they're not as calculated as they can be. Right?
So I wanted to also go through today, you said that you really had some statistics that you wanted to go out.
Yeah, and we had these statistics done in a presentation that I did early on, and they keep coming up. And when you look at the landscape of the senior care industry, and you look at the facts and the numbers that are coming down, some of the statistics are, about 10,000 Americans turn 65 years old every single day, and they're saying by 2030, every single baby boomer in America is going to be over the age of 65. Now, when that starts to happen, you're looking at 71 million Americans over the age of 65 now heading into the Medicare space, right? We're having as a society here, just in the US alone, where less and less people are having less and less kids. So less resources are going in. It's causing more strain on our system. And then when you take a look at the 85 plus population, that group is likely to need memory care, higher levels of support, and that's expected to double in the next decade or so. So when you look at the strain it's putting on the industry, a lot of people say senior tsunami, and they say it in a way where, the way I hear it is it sounds like an opportunity for them. The way I hear it is it sounds like a lot like a pandemic. It sounds like a challenge that we need to get ahead of the curve on, right? We need more voices, and I know you have other professionals in the senior care space that have been on your show. Those are so important. So accolades and kudos to those people serving seniors the right way. It's so important, because the need is only going to be greater and greater.
And you just said something that, made me think, because when you said a lot of people are not having as many, children, not having children means now maybe who's going to take care of yours, because usually many times it's the children, probably the girl, that has to start taking care of it. But you need to have this in place and so you know what you're doing. This is what's so important. And again, we had mentioned before earlier that a lot of people don't even know you exist.
And that's, we hear that all the time. It's, we'll support somebody's family member and they'll say that they wish they knew about us or a resource like us, with their other loved one, right?
His phone number is 480-809-9908. Put it in your phone. I'm telling you now, I've seen it happen firsthand when somebody had to scramble and it was an awful situation. He works statewide, is a no-cost service to you. You can check him out on his website. It's goevercare.com. I do want to bring up really quickly how you talked about people's rights that have families in hospitals when they get discharged, and how you help that real quickly on air, because when you don't know what to do, you might just leave and maybe you didn't have to.
And then you've made a decision that maybe it's not the best decision, and what happens is readmittance into that hospital. And now you're readmitted, you're a brand new number to Medicare, so they've washed that number, and now you're a monetary number. Whether they meant to do it or not, it causes strain on the system. Hospital systems often get fined for that kind of stuff. So it's just more pressure on the system.
Yeah.
So, and it's just the way our system is set up. So for us, it's just being able to be that advocate, right? To be able to let people know what their rights are. Maybe set some goals, build a care plan, have a plan in place if plan A falls through, plan B, plan C, all of those things, right?
But also have his phone number in your phone.
Oh, yeah.
Because the reason why I say that is when you are dealing with that situation, one of the things that you said is that they can
They can appeal.
Appeal. And how would you know that you can appeal, number one? And number two, who would you know to go to appeal? And what are the questions that you're gonna ask when you appeal with you don't even know what you're doing? Go ahead.
And you just call us, right?
There you go.
Call somebody in our industry. If you've got a connection, if you know anybody in this space, but lean on us. We absolutely love what we do. Everybody inside of our organization absolutely is empowered to support and care for other people. It doesn't have to be older adults. It's just inside of who we are. So we've really got a great team of professionals, like I said, statewide, from Tucson to West Valley, East Valley, and we're available. It doesn't have to be placement. It could be navigating senior care landscape as a whole.
So what's the difference between assisted living, memory care, and group homes?
And we talked a little bit about this last time. We didn't get too much into this, but it's pretty straightforward when you think about it. But there are some complexities behind that. There's 55 plus communities, right? That's more of an active adult lifestyle. Independent starts to get into, maybe you're not wanting to do some of the household chores anymore. You want the socialization. You want somebody to maybe kind of wait on you a little bit. I would liken that to like a cruise ship on land. Right? So that's more independent. And then when you get into the assisted and memory, you're starting to add care to that. So assisted living, you're looking at activities of daily living. Maybe it's medication management or reminders. Maybe you need some assistance with some of those daily activities, right? All the way up to, feeding and toileting and bathing and all of those things, right? Allowing you to age in place comfortably. So you don't need the worry, right?
Absolutely.
You have somebody to care for you. And then that's a little bit more open. You come and go a lot more freely. Memory care, I wouldn't say it's locked down like as negatively as it sounds, but it is a safer and a secure, more environment that specializes in care for individuals with cognition and cognitive challenges like dementia and Alzheimer's.
Okay, so what would you say makes EverCare different from the national referral companies out there?
We are concierge, so national organizations that you may be thinking of with Google, you're going to get a list at best. You're going to get a list of places, you're going to type your information in online, and they're going to give you pricing and availability. What that does, they're going to blast out your information to dozens and dozens of communities throughout the state, and you're going to have a bunch of phone calls from different sales teams. Some of them call centers, some of them with people locally here, but they're all only going to pitch you on why their company is going to be the best fit without looking at anything that's relevant to the actual needs of the family. And then what happens is it limits our ability to advocate for them because it becomes attributed to that organization. And those organizations, they're not boots on the ground. They don't know the people. They're in Texas or they're in Utah or another city or state.
Right. Don't call the people on television.
No.
Right?
No.
We'll call somebody
Call someone
local.
local. Call
I mean, it
someone
makes
local.
sense, because a lot of times, you just don't know what you don't know, and I say it all the time on my show, you don't. But regardless, let me take care of you. The bottom line is that a lot of people out there, if they don't know what they don't know, they are going to make a bad decision. And
Sure.
having somebody here local, you're going to call them, you're going to talk to them, you're going to be there for them.
Yep.
I mean, if you call somebody that's not that's one of those big companies, you make one call, the next time you're talking to another person, makes it very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
So his phone number is 480-809-9908. He's statewide. This is a no-cost service to you. It makes sense to speak to somebody here local. And you really, I think what you have done is really taken it to the next level by being that seniors advocate. You are their voice.
Absolutely.
And so that's something that I don't think I've ever heard of before. You can check them out on the website. It's goevercare.com. All right, so before we go, what are your final words?
Final words, and we know we didn't talk about this, but I have my parent company called Senior Connection. Website is seniorconnectionaz.com. That organization, we're doing a lot of things with that. We've got an advocate program looking for older adults that want to be a part of initiatives, volunteer charity outreach. We do health fair events, so many different things we're working on. That I kind of had on the shelf for a couple of years as we were building this. And then just recently, we've really re-engaged the community. So online on that website, seniorconnectionaz.com, learn a little bit about the organization. And our advocate program, if that's something that one of your listeners would want to be involved with. We've got some great initiatives, some really cool things we're working on. And then we do have a health fair, June 10th in Apache Junction. It's at Superstition Sunrise. It's open to the public, it's free from charge. There'll be close to 50 vendors. Lots of stuff that's going to be taking place there. I don't want to go too much into that.
And where's that going to be?
That's going to be at 703 South Meridian, which is in Apache Junction at Superstition Sunrise.
Is that on your website?
It may be on the website,
Okay,
yes.
check it out. It is going to be on June 10th. It's a health fair at Apache Junction. Their phone number to call him and find out a little bit more about all of this is 480-809-9908. It's goevercare.com.